Three, two.
Thank you for staying tuned to Building a Better Life here on Smooth 88.1 WHOV. And we're going to continue our conversation with the wonderful Vanessa Torres, who's the Executive Director of Freedom for the Forgotten. You know, anthropologist Margaret Mead once said, "Never underestimate the power of one to change the world." Vanessa Torres is proven that one person can make a difference. So, Vanessa, thank you for hanging around for the second half of today's show. We were starting to talk about your upcoming conference that will be a part of celebrating women during this special month of the year.
That's right. It's called The Power of the Woman because I think that it is time for women to focus on uplifting one another instead of bringing each other down and comparing each other. This is not a contest. This is a life that we all live in. Our children are part of the same communities and we attend the same schools and work together. Why not work together to help each other heal from past hurts and from past things that have affected us in our lives?
We need that. And I love what you said about this not being a competition, because so often you compare yourself to where someone else is. But every life is its own distinct journey, and you cannot allow where someone else is to dictate how far you can go.
That's right. And you don't know someone else's story. You know, I, for example, have my own personal story. And from the outside, those that don't know me will say, wow, she's a very successful woman. But there are issues and there are hurts that impacted me and caused me to pursue things that made me feel successful, to pursue things that made me feel valued, because I wasn't getting that at home. I wasn't getting that in my personal life. And so ultimately it looks like I lived a successful life when in fact that wasn't the case at all. And in fact I even wrote a book about it, which we can talk about.
Absolutely. I definitely want to talk about that, being unshackled. But I think you're absolutely right. Perception is not always reality. Now, I would argue that you are successful.
Well, thank you.
know, simply because there are some things that we're all working on. We're all working on something. It may not be the same thing.
We're work in
but
progress.
We're working on something.
Yeah.
And so, but that does not really take away from what has been accomplished. And so you, by every measure, you know, have done a lot in your own personal life, and you continue to help others to grow.
And I'm of the belief that to whom much is given, much is required. And so I myself have been given a lot of second chances, a lot of mercy, a lot of grace. And so why not give that to someone else? It's so much better to give that away than to receive it. And so I enjoy working for Freedom for the Forgotten, and I'm enjoying putting this conference together because the more that I talk to the women that are going to be involved in this event, the more that I'm encouraged and uplifted.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of times as a teacher, you go in to teach, but you learn.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm sure that this conference has really made you be more self-evaluating and more self-aware of things in your own life. And so the Power of the Woman Conference will be on Thursday, March the 14th, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Chesapeake Conference Center. Those are the logistics of the event. But tell us about what one can expect to really gain from this conference.
This event is open to women of all backgrounds. A lot of people are under the misunderstanding that because Freedom for the Forgotten serves formerly incarcerated women and men, that this event is going to be only for those women, but it's not. We want women who are successful in their businesses. We want women who are leaders, and we want women who want to become leaders, who want to become successful. Perhaps you are not at the place in your life where you feel you need to be. Well, we want you to come to this conference because not only are you going to add value to our lives, but someone else is going to pour into your life. And so we want to take this time to help one another come up into higher places and a better, not just success at your job, but better success in your personal life, with your spouses, with your families, because this is something that we're all working towards.
Absolutely. And tell us how one can register and participate in this conference.
So, if you want to attend the event, I highly encourage you to visit freedomfortheforgotten.org. That is our website, and on there you'll be able to click to the Eventbrite site and register. Now, for a limited time, because of this opportunity, anyone who wishes to register can enter the code Better Life, and that's only for the next 24 hours to receive a special discount. And so when you register for this event, you're not just registering to be with other women, you're registering to share food, you're registering to watch a comedy show by Patrick Williams, who's also known as P.D. Ray Red. He's going to be our special guest that night. And you are registering to hear from a very powerful woman whose name is Lisa Kratz Thomas. She has overcome incarceration, prostitution, drug addiction, and abuse. Now, if that woman can't speak about adversity, I don't know anyone else who can. So we want everyone to be there, because you're going to leave there with something.
And I think when you hear those types of stories, it lets you know that you can overcome your own obstacle. It may not be anywhere near as significant as what Lisa has overcome, but it could feel that way to you. And so really being in the presence of someone who has broken down so many barriers, it gives you the strength to continue to move forward.
I agree. How many times have we said, walk a mile in my shoes? How many times have we said, my life is so bad, no one knows what I've been through. If they only knew, they wouldn't judge me. We hear this all the time. I see it on social media. But I think that it's time for women to come out of that. It's time for women to take baby steps forward, because you don't need to be stuck in that regret and in that despair from something that happened to you in your past life. It's time to move forward and to be a role model for someone else.
Absolutely. And I think these women are the real heroes of Women's History Month. A lot of times we focus on the past.
Yes.
But we have heroes walking among us each and every day that we fail to recognize for the valuable role that they play in our communities, in our churches, in our families. You know, we need to look at those who are present here and now and who are making a difference.
And while we can't forget the women who made it possible for us to be where
Who
we are.
opened those doors, right? Of
They've
course.
paved the way for us as a nation to be where we are. We also have to celebrate those who are here with us today, the women who are working for our tomorrow, for our future generation. So that's why this event is important for women of all ages, even the young women who may be on the fence. They don't know what they want to be in their future. They don't know what they want to go to school for. Maybe they don't even want to go to school, and that's fine too. We want you to be proud of where you are and proud of where you're going, because you're going to lead our country in the future.
Absolutely. And we see that now. We look at all of the women who were just elected to Congress, and it's a beautiful thing to see women who are stepping up into governmental leadership roles, but also in retail and hospitality and shipbuilding, in every area where you see women who are doing more and more to demonstrate their capability and their capacity.
Yes, absolutely. And even women who are homemakers. I think that we live in a time where women who are homemakers feel like maybe they're not worthy. They feel that what they're doing is not of value, when it's absolutely a lie, because everything that you're pouring into your children is going to make them better men and women. And so these are the women we want to celebrate, because you are important and you helped us.
Absolutely.
And we want to help others in turn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I often say that the most important job is being a parent. You know, that's the job that no one else can fulfill in your child's life. someone else can be a surrogate and pour good things in, but actually that parenting role, whether you're a mother or a father, is just so critical in the development of a young person. Let's talk a little bit about your book. You referenced that earlier, and it's called Unshackled, The Unfinished Journey to Help Women Who Have Struggled. Tell us about why you wrote the book and what you hope the key message is that people take from this book.
Well, when we were doing a reentry program with a group of women at the Chesapeake jail, we spent about 8 weeks with them, 8 Saturdays, and we talked about parenting. We talked about things in their lives that cause guilt and despair and shame. We talked about them living with that stigma when they come out and all of the hurts that weigh them down daily. And it was during that time that I actually began journaling, not only in preparing for my reentry classes, but just in focusing my thoughts and my program on these women. And I learned that there were so many things that were holding me back from being successful, because I have also experienced abuse. I was sexually abused as a child. I also was married for 25 years. And about 3 years ago, I decided to walk away from my marriage. And so those decisions caused a lot of guilt.
And
they
pain.
caused a lot of pain. They caused a lot of discomfort in my family even. And so I've learned in my own life that I need to let all that go. The good, the bad, the ugly, the bad decisions. There's nothing that I can do to change the past. But there are a lot of things that I can do to change my future. And so as I started journaling and preparing for these women, I became unshackled myself. I became unshackled from that guilt. And so the book also says it's an unfinished journey, because that's what it is. It's a day-to-day walk. Being unshackled is not something that happens suddenly. It's something that we work towards every day. And I think that a lot of times men and women, when they hear the word freedom, we think about our nation's freedom. We think about our independence. And we always say that our freedom was freely given to us. But there are cases like mine and like so many others who are listening where you need and you desire that freedom, but it's not going to be given to you. You have to work towards it.
You have to take it.
You have to take it, and you have to own that freedom every single day and walk in that freedom. And slowly you will become unshackled. Slowly you'll realize that one chain came off and wow, I'm a little bit lighter now. And then slowly another chain will come off, and you, before you know it, you realize that you are completely free and able to smile about where you are in your life. And that's where I want to be when I grow up. But that's what my book is about.
But it takes incredible courage to be able to do that. And I know there's so many women, as well as some men, you know, who are living every day under abusive circumstances. And a lot of times they don't even recognize that it's abuse because they've grown accustomed to life treating them a certain way.
Yeah, sometimes we learn to live with drama.
Absolutely, and accept it as you know, as the norm. So the abnormal becomes the norm. So what steps would you suggest someone take to really develop that courage to be able to make a change in your life?
That's a really good question, and I'm not sure that there are steps or that there's a specific formula, but I can say that for me, it was my faith that helped me. It was the early morning meditation. It was the time that I spent alone with no one else. As uncomfortable as it was for me sometimes, I know that a lot of men and women who are hurt and living in pain don't like to be alone. So I learned to embrace that time and ask God, what are you trying to say to me? What do you want me to do with my life? But that was my personal journey. And for everyone, it's slightly different. You have to find it, and you have to find someone. And I was very privileged to have people in my life who were encouraging during that very painful time. During that time, even as I was trying to help others, I was going through my own stuff. So you have to find a support system. very important, not only for us, but for the incarcerated. So all of these lessons impact both, even those who are behind bars and those like us who aren't. And the key is walking towards that freedom, towards that happiness, towards that joy that perhaps you haven't had in many years. And so that's where I am now. That's why it's an unfinished journey. But for so many others, it still is an unfinished journey. And I want to be there, and I want to encourage others who would want to join our team to help us to, encourage people in the community.
Well, that is really bold that you have been able to do that you have been able to transform your life and in the process help so many other people begin to take a look at where they can make some changes for the better. I know it's tough. It's very tough, and it's also, it comes with a price. Because I'm sure for you it was a thought of, well, what will people think of me if they know my secret? And I think often the secret is what keeps people in bondage.
It is the secret.
And so when you're able to share that secret, there's a release that comes with that.
I was just talking to a friend of mine recently, and I said, you know what? I'm tired of keeping this secret of sex abuse all to myself, because I didn't do this to myself. I was innocent. And so a lot of times, and for years, I lived with this secret because, I'm so embarrassed. This is not my secret. This was someone else's secret, what someone else did to me. And once you let go of that, then you realize that there's another level of freedom that you can attain.
So again, the meaning in your nonprofit's name is so significant. As you said, not only for the formerly incarcerated, but for those who are walking around each and every day. And again, as we think about Women's History Month and women who are dealing with so many of these struggles, it's important to know that there is an opportunity on March the 14th to join and to connect with other women who are also on this journey.
Yes, please join us on March the 14th. I want to also say that women, you're going to have an opportunity to get a headshot, a professional headshot done, so that you can use that in conjunction with your resume, with your web pages. You're going to have an opportunity to meet women who are veterans, who have served our country. You're going to have an opportunity to meet new friends and maybe establish a new network, a new inner circle for yourself. You never know what doors are going to open, but you have to be in attendance.
You have to take that first step. And that's often what holds people back, is the fact that they don't know how to take that first step, or they feel that something is not for me. And so that's why I'm so happy that you said that this conference is for everyone, regardless of socioeconomic status, regardless of educational background, whether you work in the home or work outside of the home.
Yes.
This event will have something that will help you to move forward.
And as I mentioned earlier, listeners who want to get a very special discount, you can type in Better Life, get a very special discount for this event. I want to emphasize that all proceeds for this event are going towards Freedom for the Forgotten, because up until now, we have been doing all of our work in my home. And so we're looking to open an establishment where we can do everything at a neutral location, where we can provide employment services, we can provide mentoring, and even support group meetings. Up until now, we've had our support group meetings at various Starbucks locations. And so it's not conducive to a private environment.
Conversation.
Right. And so we want to have these services in a facility where people know, hey, I can go there. Those people are going to help me. So you're going to be supporting a good cause when you attend this event.
So while helping yourself, you'll be helping others as well.
Absolutely.
And that's a true win-win. So Vanessa, what what is next? You mentioned, of course, establishing an independent, location. But where do you see this organization 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
I would love to see an organization like mine. It doesn't have to be Freedom for the Forgotten, but something similar in other states. I would love to see this in every state, and maybe us being able to collaborate together, because we talked about earlier, sometimes people have the need to relocate because they want to get away from their past life, and that's fine. So if someone relocates, I want to be able to send them to a partner agency so that they can get the mentorship and the training that they need there.
And that is key. You and I were talking a little bit earlier about the value of collaboration, because no one organization can do it alone.
No.
These issues that we see are pervasive, and it really takes a multifaceted approach. It takes a variety of different entities working together to truly have the impact that we need to see. We'd like to see recidivism at zero.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, but that takes a lot of work to get there. Before we close, in case someone just joined us, let's talk again about the organization, Freedom for the Forgotten, why it was established, and the work that it does today.
Freedom for the Forgotten is a nonprofit charitable organization that was established to provide resources to ex-offenders and their families. We are hosting a conference on March 14th. It's our very first public event because we were established in 2017. It's our first public event to raise awareness about what we do, to raise awareness about what is needed, and to establish a permanent facility. Everyone who attends the conference will be supporting a great cause. I encourage you to visit freedomfortheforgotten.org to find out more about what we do. Find out who else is supporting our conference. We have some great partners that are going to be there. And so we encourage you to register, use the code BETTERLIFE.
Absolutely.
So that you can get a great discount today.
In the next 24 hours.
That's correct.
And tell us the phone number as well. And did you give us your website?
Our website is freedomfortheforgotten.org, and the phone number is 757-560-6019. And please reach out with any questions. You can reach out to me via email from the website. You can also reach out to me through Eventbrite. Our website will take you to there as well.
Great. Women are changing the world,
We are.
each and every day. And I think so often we do use our own personal experiences, to build that bridge to others and to connect in powerful ways that make a difference in our community. So, Vanessa, I want to thank you so much for being our guest on the show today and sharing so much information. I wish you the best of luck in your conference on March the 14th, and looking forward to connecting you with our Virginia Cares program.
I'm excited about that. Thank you so much. This was a great honor.
Please stay tuned. After some announcements, we'll be